Hi, friend. Welcome to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne, and around here we like to keep things real and encouraging and also just simple. I want you to be able to leave today's episode with something that you can apply to your life today that's meaningful. So, today we're going to talk about a phrase that may sound pretty encouraging, it may sound good, but I think it's really more negative. And oftentimes it really cuts our confidence off at the knees. And the phrase is overnight success. Do you believe in it? I know I used to. I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I mean, we're served it up all the time on social media, right? I mean, we are told and shown all these really wonderful people that have done seemingly nothing, and all of a sudden they're like billionaires and they're successful and whatever. And I've bought into that. I used to buy into that. Do you? Do you buy into that now? Well, I want to jump into this because as we start believing that overnight success is real and we're trying to do something new, like in our life pivot or in our chapter two of life, let's say we've been in a career for 20 years and now we're pivoting over to do something else. If we're having normal progress, we may see that as failure because it's not boom overnight. We're to a point now where making millions of dollars isn't even noteworthy. You have to have a B in front of it for it to be talked about. That's crazy. $5 million is a lot of money. It is so much money. $5 million in your bank account for your retirement, for most people, that's enough. That like covers them for the rest of their life. But do people talk about $5 million like it's something special? No, they don't. So this whole overnight success thing, I think really does come into play and really in a negative way, and especially if you are in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, in midlife, because that's when the chapter two comes, right? If you're in your 30s and you are climbing the corporate ladder, you are not in your chapter two yet, right? You're climbing. You are learning and growing and climbing, and you should be. Once you get into that next decade of the 40s or 50s, typically I think it's like mid 40s it'll hit, that's when you start looking at your life pivot, whether it comes at you or whether you choose it for yourself. That's up for debate, and you'll figure that out when it happens. But truly, this idea of overnight success is something that can really stop you in your tracks. And I don't want that for you. That's why I want to talk about this today, because we are in the membership community that I developed called Beyond by Emerge Positive. We are focusing 100% on creating our next decade. And that requires us to be clear on what we want, where we want to go, how we're going to get there, but also really what is going to make us happy. What do we really want? So that's kind of the first question to ask yourself. What do you want? What do you want in your life? What will bring you joy? Because joy comes in all different flavors, people, all different flavors. But what do you want? What will make you happy? Are you doing it right now, or do you need to pivot to do something else? And maybe you're in a job and you are the sole breadwinner of your home, whether that's because you're single or because you are the provider of your family. Maybe you can't just jump into something new. Maybe you have to slowly glide over there. But get clear on what it is that you really want. What will make you happy? What is this chapter two really meant to be for you, right? What's going to bring you joy? Now, getting back to this whole overnight success thing, though, let's say you do start sliding over, right? You're doing something part-time as a side hustle, which is really your passion. But let's say that things are not taking off as you had hoped. Let's say that things are running slower. Let's say your customer base isn't growing as fast as you thought, or that you're on social media and your followers are not growing as fast as you thought. Because what is your metric? Your metric is what you're seeing all the time in media, whether that be social media or TV. We are being fed that there's this thing called overnight success, and that we are only looking at meteoric growth, right? We're not looking at just step by step growth, which is what is normal or natural. And I have to say, like, when I first encountered Marie Forleo, I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She is a business coach. She is all over social media and she's been there for years and years and years. I probably encountered her about 10 years ago when I had already started Emerge Positive and I was looking to learn more. And I liked her. Like, I really was aligned with who she was as a person. She had a lot of information to offer. And so I jumped in. And she had this presence on online called Marie TV. And now it's her podcast, but before podcasts, this was kind of like her main mode of communication. And I used to watch it weekly. And I thought that she had just started it and was like this overnight success. And so I was expecting that for myself. Like, if I'm going to be doing and walking in these footsteps similar to hers, then she was my measurement of success. And that was so wrong. It was debilitating to me because I wasn't getting that success to where she was. Well, it turns out neither was she. And when she finally showed that, like, I was watching one of her shows and she talked about the grueling process that she went through to reach the pinnacle that she was at, it really gave me like it reframed things for me. It gave me new perspective. It made me understand that this isn't meant to be overnight. And I need to decide, what is it that I really want? Because at the end of the day, and I know you know this, but I'm going to say it anyway, your joy and happiness does not come from reaching that pinnacle. It does not come from the paycheck that you're going to receive when you go IPO. It does not come from the money in your bank account. Those are all really great things. And you should want them. Like, I'm not discouraging you wanting or striving to make more money to support your family and to be able to do more. I'm not. I think it's great. But it is not the source of your happiness. When you are in a life pivot, you are typically looking for something better, more fulfilling, something that brings you joy every day. Because what you've probably been doing for 20 years didn't really do that, right? We fall into a career and hopefully we're really good at it and we get paid great for it. But then at some point, it's time to pivot to something else. And when we do that, the number one thing that most people say to me is, I just want to be happy. I want to be joyful. I want to wake up every morning grateful for my life. I want to say, I love my life. Okay, to do that and to get there, it's not about the end. It's about the day to day. It's about showing up. It's about, what are you bringing to the table? Your gifts and your uh, the things that bring you passion, bringing that to the table is what matters on a day-to-day basis, and how you show up. How are you uplifting other people? That is what's going to bring you joy. And that is going to make your life something that you love. Yes, reaching the goal is great, but don't make it the end all be all. It is not going to bring you happiness. Now, I know, I mean, I was in business for a very long time. You are never going to work for a corporation and have them say to you, oh, we don't care what your end of year budget is. We don't care what your goals are. No, it is all about the numbers, right? And I know that very well. It is about the numbers. So when you're in that corporate world, they are going to have you have a number that you have to reach, whether it be for expenses or for revenue, but you are held to that and you are held to the fire for that. But it's not going to bring you joy. It's bringing them money for their success. So when you do your life pivot, make sure that your focus is on the day to day. What can you do day to day that will make you so happy to get up tomorrow and do it again, right? That is what life is about. That is a solid life. That is a life worth living. That is a life to be joyful about, something to get you out of bed every day, right? That is what matters. So, this whole overnight success thing, I just don't think it exists. It's a nice story. It's a nice thing to see. It's a nice thing that we're fed all the time in the media because it's sellable, but it's not real. So if you are trying to do something new, or you're starting a new company, or you're just starting something new to you, whatever that may be, just keep in mind that it is not meant to be overnight. Show up, do the work, do it for the right reasons, do it for service to other people, how you're benefiting them. That is when the magic happens. That is when you're going to see outcomes. Don't make it about the end, right? Don't focus all of your effort on the end. Make it about the journey. The other thing I just want to quickly mention is, when I've been on this journey with Emerge Positive, I started in 2012. Emerge Positive came to being, and it has gone on roller coasters, highs and lows from 12 till now. And there have been some times where I've really been resistant to being in a category or a title of what I was doing. Like, I really never embraced being an entrepreneur. When someone said, well, what do you do? Or, what is it that Emerge Positive is? I rarely said I was a small business owner or entrepreneur. It was some title that I just didn't really embrace for myself. I don't know why. I do now, but I didn't then. Like, I don't know if I had been in corporate America, so it was very different for me. The other thing is being a writer. I mean, I have been writing since, I don't know, 2008. I've been writing. I've written small form, long form. I wrote a book with Jack Canfield a year and a half ago, and man, oh man, I have had the hardest time embracing the title of being a writer. And what happens is when you resist what is, you create dissonance, and that can cause you more stress and pain. So I'm sharing my own journey here about this in hopes to bring light to something that maybe you are resisting. Like, is there something in your life that is a title or a category that you just are not associating with, and it's causing you delays? Because for me, it caused me delays because I wasn't willing to accept it and embrace it. I was prolonging my success. It's so silly. I was in my own way. So if you are in your own way, I'm just trying to shed some light so that you can step aside and let it happen. Oftentimes, we step in, we get in the way, we have preconceived ideas, or we have some way that we were raised that just creates a block. It is our responsibility to get rid of that, but you can't get rid of it until you see it first. So, really ask yourself, how am I in the way here? Am I blocking this? Am I resisting a title or a category that I've been put in, and that is stopping me from going forward? If so, get rid of it, accept it, move on, do something to allow the space to open so you can walk through. And for me, it definitely was embracing being a writer, embracing the fact that I'm an author and saying, yes, this is real. Evidence is a really interesting thing here. If you can find evidence in your life and be able to point to something and say, yeah, I did that, that will help you get over the hump. So when you are looking for, evidence, maybe you take some time to like really look at what you've done, where you've been. If you can see a pattern or something that goes, yeah, I'm a blank, that will help you get over the hurdle. It did for me, so try it. It definitely did for me. So on our before we go, I really want to ask you just a couple more questions to ponder because I think that oftentimes just sitting in thought sometimes with a simple question can clear things away, and you can just, it's amazing like how quickly things can indeed happen when we get ourselves out and remove the block. So the other question I want to ask you is, where in your life are you seeing something as too late? I've waited so long. I'm now 50, and it's just too late for me to do that. I've always wanted it, but it's just too late. What instead if it was not yet? What if you weren't meant to do it until your 50s? Maybe you're looking at it all wrong. Instead of that, my time has passed and it's too late for me, maybe it's now. Maybe it wasn't meant for that time in your life. And maybe now is the time for you to begin. Something to think about. The other is the identity, what we just talked about. What identity are you potentially resisting that's causing you stress? That's causing you to just stop in your tracks and not move forward. Okay? And again, that evidence. Look for that evidence. that's already in your life that will show you, yeah, of course I can do that. I am a writer. I am a painter. I am a singer. Whatever it is that is your passion that you want to do for your chapter 2, look for that evidence. I also ask you to think about, what can you do this week that will just be a tiny step taking you toward where you want to go, your goal? What is that one thing that you could do this week that would really make a difference? That you could look at and say, I did it. I took that step. I made that phone call. I sent out the email. I wrote up the business plan, whatever it is. What's that one little thing that you can do that will give you some momentum and some action and that step forward? When you are realizing that you're in your chapter 2, you are not behind. If you haven't started yet, it's okay. You're not behind. You are becoming. Allow yourself to become who you really are. Allow yourself to be in your passions, to use your gifts, to use them in a way that is a positive impact to the world, to your neighbors, to your family. It can be so small, it doesn't matter. Positive impact is powerful, no matter how small it may seem. So if you have that feeling and that tug within you, don't ignore it. Go do something. One little small thing. Your chapter 2 is yours to create. It is yours to do, well, it's yours to create a life that you love. I want you to wake up every morning saying, I love my life. And if that sounds ridiculous, it's time for some changes, because it can be. Mine is, I wake up and say every single day, I love my life. And you can too. If you're looking to be part of a community of people that are like-minded, that are also pivoting, that are also in their chapter 2, that are creating their next decade with intention, come join Beyond by Emerge Positive. It is the most incredible group of women, professionals from all walks of life across the United States, are all coming together to encourage and uplift and be there as accountability partners to help you create that next decade on purpose. Life is so precious. Why not live in a way that brings you joy? You don't need to be living in a way that is miserable, where you're in your Sunday blues every Sunday night because you dread Monday. We don't need to live like that. It's time to create a life that you love. All right. I just want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you are going to take something from today, apply it in your life, and move forward. God, I'd love for you to come in and join us at Beyond by Emerge Positive. Just go to emergepositive.com. It's all right there. It takes literally a minute to sign up, and you can cancel at any time. You won't regret it. But if now is not the time, I hope that you will continue to come back to the podcast every Wednesday, where we'll continue to talk about different ways and easy ways that you can improve your life. You can. Emerge positive.